Good morning. This is going to be your introduction video for Child Development 251, which is Administration and Management. In this video, I am going to go over the syllabus, one of the larger assignments that you need to do, and how the class is structured on Canvas for you. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to share the screen. I will be sharing it with Canvas. So when you log on, this is generally what your Canvas page will look like. So our very first module is welcome, start here, and you've already accessed that because you've clicked on this and you're watching the video. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to show you the syllabus, then I'm going to come back and talk about the director interview, and then I will show you what I have for this first week of class as well. All right, so I am now going to be sharing the screen with the syllabus that looks like this. This is the best kind of font and setup for online. So the way that I have structured it should be easy for you guys to be able to download and look at, and also if you wanted to have it read to you and an e-reader. All right, so this is Administration 2, Personnel Leadership in Early Childhood Education. And this class is totally online, February 3rd through May 22nd. My office hours, or what I call them is scholars hours, are in person Tuesdays, 12:30 to 12, I'm sorry. That is not correct. My office hours are 1:15 to 2:15 in the library, or also by appointment, because I know this is an online class. Maybe you don't live locally, or maybe you work full-time. I can make them by appointment. I can give you a call, or I can do like a video conference like this with you as well. So that's your office hours. So if you needed to speak with me or have more than just an email or message conversation with me, either come to the main campus of MiraCosta, the Oceanside campus, to the library. I'm in the front lobby on Tuesdays at 1:15. All right, this is my email, so you can just click this straight from the link and it will come straight to my email. I check email about twice a day, Monday through Friday, so please expect a reply as soon as I see it or within 24 business hours. I do, because this is an online class, check my emails on Sundays as well, very sporadically though. Your assignments for each week are going to be due Sunday night at 11:59. So I really urge you to take a look at it earlier in the week, so if you have questions, concerns, need my help for anything, you ask me earlier in the week versus later in the week, because I know some of you are procrastinators and you'll be working at it at 11 o'clock at night on Sunday night. I have 3 kids of my own. I'm hopefully going to be fast asleep at that time. I will check my email typically maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, just to make sure that there aren't any last minute things that I can help with. But I wouldn't depend on that. I would always take a look at the homework earlier in the week. Even if you're not planning on doing it until Sunday night, take a look, ask me if you have any questions or concerns. I don't check my email on Saturdays though, at all. So in this class, this is really for if you want to become a director or an assistant director of an early childhood program. So we're going to talk about running programs, infant toddler, FCC or family child care homes. We'll be looking at supervision techniques, professional development, working with families, marketing as well, how to increase enrollment in your program. We'll be talking about supervision strategies, leadership, team building, action plans, being able to write a program plan. So all of this are outcomes that we would like you to have at the end of class. But this is really kind of your introductory class to being a director. So this fulfills part of the requirement that we have with community care licensing, the other part being 250. And this is just designed to give you the basics in being able to run and develop and supervise programs for young children. We'll talk a bit about legalities as well in trainings. We do have one text, and you guys will use this for both classes. So many of our classes here don't have textbooks, but this is a really, really good resource. I've had it for years. It's the Administration of Programs for Young Children by Click, Carcos, and Robertson. It's available at our bookstore. It's also available online as well. I have the 9th edition here, although I don't really care about the editions that much. They haven't changed that dramatically. The 9th edition, I think, talks more about technology, like Brightwheel and some of those things. Otherwise, there hasn't been that much of a difference. So if a coworker or a friend has an earlier edition, that should be fine as well. And you'll be using this in 2 classes because it is a great kind of introductory source. I'll also be providing a lot of resources online in files for you guys that you can use and download, or just examples so that you can use it as well. Maybe you'll like the infant daily sheet that I put on Canvas better than the one that you're currently using, or maybe you're confused about cleaning and sanitation. I've got information on that. So I'll have different files each week for you guys to take a look at and to increase your understanding in the class as well. All right, so class attendance, you need to actually log on every week. That's the biggest thing with online classes, and the biggest thing that I have structured is you need to read at home. You're going to be reading part of the textbook, and you also need to be online completing the assignments every week. This class relies a lot on course content and just being part of the class. Therefore, if you're not on, you're possibly going to get a lowered grade. So each week I open Canvas, the new module, which is done week by week. I open it on Monday and I close it on Sunday night at 11:59. So you have 6.5 days in order to do 1 weekly assignment and to watch a video lecture that will be very similar to this format as well. So I'll take a lot of the class content, I'll make a PowerPoint, and you'll also have this video like this where I will be explaining some of the class content that you'll need to know. I try to make it a little bit more engaging and give you examples from my past. When I have been a director, I've been a director of a state-funded program, a nonprofit, and also with the military as well. So I have a lot of experience running, planning, starting, and keeping up programs. So I'll try to give you examples from my past, or things that I've done that went great, or things that I didn't do so well at that I've kind of learned from as well. So the parent manual, that's a assignment that we're going to be doing at the very, very end, and we'll actually be writing the work each week. And the director interview are going to be reduced by 50% of the total points if they're late. So please turn them in. 50% is better than 0 point. But if you turn in the parent manual and the director interview late, it will be reduced automatically by 50 points. They're both 50-point projects, so you'd get a 25 at the best. I also need them submitted within 2 weeks of the due date. I'm teaching 7 classes at 4 different colleges. So I have a lot of work going, and a lot of these assignments I put later for you guys as well, so that you have time to kind of complete them, which means that I need to have them submitted timely so that I can get your grades back and submit grades at the end of the semester. I do submit my grades very early, very soon after this class ends. I know many of you are waiting on this. You have a conditional job offer if you pass this class, or you need to get your permit, or you need to get your transcripts so you can get a raise. So I know in child development, a lot of us are waiting for our transcripts. So I complete my grades as soon as possible and turn them in within a day or 2 of completing the class so that you guys can have that. So I need to have grades turned in as well to me on a timely manner. There's no makeup for weekly assignments. So you're going to do 10 weekly assignments. And in this class, a lot of the work is kind of based on that. So it's really, really important that you're doing this, because the parent manual, we're actually going to be writing it through those 10 weekly assignments. So each week we'll be doing something different. At the end, all you're going to do is just put it into the template that I've already given you. And that will be it. The director interview, I'll go over at a later time in this video, and I'll kind of explain it to you, because it's the only kind of larger assignment that you're not going to be doing on a weekly basis. Please don't plagiarize. There are certain cases where we will kind of cut and paste certain legal work for maybe a plan of action, or if we were going to be hiring or firing people, like the at-will statement that we have in California for any kind of employment contract. That I will always, guys, let you know when I'm expecting you to have it word for word. Otherwise, you can't use anybody else's work, especially if they've taken this class. You can't just copy and paste from the internet. You can't paraphrase without proper documentation. Everything is online now, and Canvas will let me know immediately after something is submitted if it is plagiarized. So it's very, very hard to get away with. Please don't use anybody else's work, because if they turned it in anywhere online, I will find it. I can also see your papers from high school now as well. So you can't plagiarize anything that you've done previously, that a friend has done, and especially can't cut and paste it from the internet, because that will come up immediately. So please make sure that you're using your own work. Myself and the Writing Center and the Tutoring Center are also here to help you at the library if you need additional support in writing effectively, because being a director, you have to communicate, you have to be able to talk to parents, to staff, to members of the community, and you also need to be able to write well. If you're telling parents something and then you're giving them a policy that isn't written well, or a parent manual that doesn't make sense, parents are going to be confused. They're going to not understand what you want them to do. They might complain, they might go elsewhere. So it's important to be able to effectively communicate. So you do a lot of writing in that class towards that end of being good at writing employee contracts, being able to write for parents, being able to do a plan of action, being able to set up agendas for staff or for parents. All of that requires the ability to communicate both in the written form and the verbal form as well. So MiraCosta has the library, we have a writing center, we have tutoring, and all of those are for you so that you can get better. Also, my office hours, I'm more than happy to kind of help you guys with any writing that you might need to do. So classroom etiquette, we will have discussion boards. They will not be graded. I just kind of consider at this level, if you are hoping to become a director or assistant director or work in supervision with young children, that you will kind of see the discussion boards as a networking source for you. Like, for example, last semester, one of our students loves like graphic design, and she linked to her Teachers Pay Teachers site, where she, like, for $1.50 or $2 or something, has a bunch of really, really nice like infant daily sheets, communication, newsletter templates, things like that. So for like less than like a cost of a Starbucks coffee, you could kind of get that from her, and that's a nice network, especially if graphic design and kind of cute or nice looking forms like that is not your strength. You know, you can always find somebody who's good at that, who might be willing to share, or even has a Teachers Pay Teachers site, so you can always have the PDF or the doc. So I'd like you guys to be on and to leave your thoughts and ideas, and I learned from you guys as well. In 2018, I transitioned to doing this. So I haven't worked in direct care since late 2018. So there are things that maybe I'm not as familiar with, or when I was a preschool teacher, I never used Brightwheel, or I didn't even have an iPad in the classroom. We just had an old computer. So while I know some technology, I'm not familiar with it, like from a teaching standpoint. So that would be things that I've learned from you guys, or from my own daughters going to preschool as well. For papers, we're using APA, so if you were to reference anything, you would be using APA. And I know we're at MiraCosta, but I put Palomar's Student Success Guide, because there is a sample APA paper on page 55 or 56, and that is the link straight to it, so you could see it, and that would give you information about APA and how to structure it as well. Please don't record the class or anything that I do or share it on social media, please. My email, I really need to be able to communicate with you guys by your MiraCosta email. Please forward your MiraCosta student email straight to your work email or your personal email if you're not going to be on regularly checking your email, because I send out announcements every week on Monday and Thursday about the class, and that will go to your student email and also be on Canvas. So please make sure that you are forwarding your student email to any email that you check more regularly, like Gmail or whatever, because also MiraCosta will send out important things like Writing Center or our food pantry events that you might want to go to, free movies, all that type of stuff. All right, these are my assignments, and the information is pretty sparse here because all of the information, the rubrics and the written instructions are totally on Canvas. I mean, this is an online class, so you should be able to just click on the assignment and see what it is and see the rubric as well. So once again, you're gonna have weekly assignments. There'll be 10 of them. I'll open them on Monday. Each module each week for 15 weeks will be open on Monday and it will close on Sunday. So you'll have 6.5 days in order to do your weekly assignments. I'll also have a discussion board. It's not graded, but it's highly encouraged that you reach out and you work with people in your class in this online format. I've had people get jobs from other people, like, hey, I'm hiring for a mentor teacher, and then, you know, have a network online, or just be able to learn from people good ideas about, you know, how do you get staff out of the classroom in order to do planning. That can be, you know, a struggle with small programs, having enough time and space and floats in order to get people out of the classroom in order to plan. Your director interview, which I will talk about, but basically short story is you're just going to interview a director and you're going to write a paper on it. The parent manual I've already kind of talked about, but these weekly assignments that I've already talked about, you are going to be using these to make the parent manual. So these kind of 10 weekly assignments that we're working on every single week are going to be compiled in a parent manual. That's actually like a flip book. I'll show you more, but it's kind of a short way of getting the most important information out to the parents. It looks pretty cute too, so you could put it up on your fridge or in your office, and a parent could go back to the more pertinent information, like days that you're closed or the food program or signing in and out, whatever you want parents to really know. This is just a small way for them to kind of have that information reset in their mind. It's not the whole of your maybe parent manual, but it's definitely a way for parents to get information, and that will be online. So we'll write it together and then you guys will compile it one week. Then there's going to be a final exam, which will be an essay exam during the last week of class. This will also be due online. It will be due on Friday though, because the semester ends on a Friday and not on a Sunday. I'll do a review online the week before, so I will give you 10 essay questions, and you can review it and write them out however you want to, ask me any questions, and then the next week will be the final, and I'll choose 5 of those questions. So you've seen them, you had the chance to kind of think about them, maybe find sources, look it up in the textbook, look back at my lecture, so you've had time, and then on Friday, the last week of class, I will just choose 5 of those essay questions, and that will be our final. The biggest thing with the final is that it's due the Friday and not Sunday. Here's some information. Canvas does have a really great function, grades. So if you're off on the left, if you're on Canvas on the left-hand side, you can see grades right here. That will list your grades and what you've gotten. And I do really try to get your weekly assignments done within 1 week. So I try to have a good turnaround with that, so that you know how you're doing and you can adjust if you need to. I try to give you feedback, if at all possible, to things that you might want to change, things that I've done in the past. So I typically try to write you notes as well. So those are those class assignments. For the parent manual and the director interview, especially a director interview, it's going to take me 2 to 3 weeks to actually read through, get a sense of who you interviewed and why it was so helpful for you, and then give you feedback and respond as well. So that might be a little bit longer. So we don't have a lot of points in this class, a lot of it because I kind of consider you guys upper division. You know, you're not learning the basics anymore. We're not discussing Piaget or Erikson or anything like that. This isn't the basics of child development. You probably have been working in the field a while. I kind of consider this a higher level thing where you're now trying to take all your child development information and apply it to your staff and the people you're going to be supervising. So there's not that many points, and most of them are those in-class assignments. The very last page is just kind of an overview of what we're going to be doing. So when assignments are due, and when the director's interview is due, it's due in week 7. When you're planning and running a family childcare, school age, preschool, infant, toddler, we're going to look at diversity inclusion, running a program, qualifications, licensing, and working with families, working with our community, child abuse and violence as well. And how we kind of can protect children in our programs. Then the review is 1 week and the final exam is due Friday. So it's not due Sunday. So open it on Monday and you only have till Friday. So that's the biggest thing that gets people in trouble, is not completing the final on time. Will cost you 50 points, which for most people is a grade to 2 grades or a grade and a half at the very, very least. So please make sure that you are doing that as well. So here is our final. Here is our syllabus. The schedule is on the last page, and then all of my contact information is at the very start as well. All right, so we are back to Canvas. So here's the welcome module. This will always be here. We just went over the final, which is right here. You're in this category right here watching this video of me talk, and now I'm going to show you guys the director interview. So this is due March 29th, so it's already up. So if you know that March is going to be really, really hard for you, maybe your DRDPs are due, or you're going to go on a cruise, or whatever is happening in your life, you don't have to wait until March 29th. I know some of you will, but you can work on it now and complete it earlier if that works best for your life. So it's already up. What this is I kind of want you to be able to analyze standards and requirements from licensing, and also just kind of classroom practice, management practice, customer service, everything, kind of just seeing what is important for directors to do. So I would like you to, and we're down in the directions right here, I would like you to choose and complete one interview of a person in a management position. So I'm pretty open-ended about what this can mean. This is just not a teacher, basically. So it can be a director, assistant director, it could be a site supervisor, it could be a program director, so running multiple sites, it could be an enrollment coordinator, it could be anybody who is working kind of more in the supervision and management field of childhood education and less in the actual hands-on teaching. So anybody in those kind of categories would be fine with me as well. If you have questions, you can always ask me. In the past, I had somebody actually go and interview an HR person and the accountant because she's going to be opening up her own school-age program at a church facility, and she wanted to ask really specific questions about like money, budgeting. So she talked to the accountant about all of that, like payroll, like very specific. And then she also talked to the HR person as well about specific kind of human relations, the legalities and things like that. So that's totally fine. She learned a lot. I actually learned a couple things about payroll law that I didn't know before from reading hers. So if you kind of have something that you're that you want to know about, or you want to talk to somebody that's not in these categories, please let me know so I can just steer you in the right direction. I'd also like you to observe a classroom before or after the observation. So you are taking off your like teacher glasses, your teacher lens. I don't care about the interactions. I don't care about the children. I don't care about curriculum. I'm looking more at licensing, policies and procedures, management, anything that's showing the quality of supervision in the program. So are breaks done on time? Are they in ratio? Is the parent information that needs to be posted legally up in the classroom where it can be seen by all? Are there evacuation exits? Is all of the health and safety that licensing requires from us evident in the classroom? Policy and procedures, are things running smoothly? Do they have enough resources showing that they maybe have enough money? Are things just being managed well at the program? So I'd like you to, obviously you need to get prior permission to observe and conduct a short interview. So you're going to observe at the program, and then you're also going to ask to do a short, like maybe 20-minute interview with the director. I don't want to take too much of our community members' times. They're very busy, but just letting them know, calling or emailing any location in where you live. So this could be a licensed preschool, it could be an FCC, so family child care that's licensed, it could be an after-school program, it could be an infant toddler program, it could be it could be a Head Start, it could be state funded, it could be a nonprofit, it could even be DoD, which is the Department of Defense, which is what we have on Camp Pendleton, and Miramar, and any of our military schools would be awesome as well. It just needs to be it needs to be a program for children and have some kind of licensing element. So somebody who's running kind of an illegal FCC in their home where licensing doesn't come out, that wouldn't work because we're not seeing how licensing is being used in the family child care. And then I don't need real names of the children, child, teacher, staff. You can do child 1, child 2, teacher A, teacher B. So keeping that confidentiality as well. And I'd really like you guys to go out and find a program that you're interested in that you've always wanted to kind of know about. So if you're working at a project, Reggio approach, but you've always kind of been like, I wonder what Waldorf's like, or I'd really like to, you know, try Montessori, or I've heard really great things about this site supervisor, or this is somebody at a different location in the same group, but I've always heard that they run, you know, great programs, and I'd like to go interview them and see, kind of pick their brain about it. So what I'd like you to do is to describe. So I'd like you to write a summary of the program, and this is 10 points right here. So tell me what kind of program it is. So is it the military? Is it infant toddler? Is it state funded? Where is it located? San Diego, Ramona, Wisconsin, I don't know. How many students they have enrolled, and how many employees work there. So 150 students, 25 students, children, and how many employees are also there. So 40 employees, 50 employees, however many. And then information on the philosophy of education. So is it project-based? Is it Reggio? Is it Montessori-inspired, academic? What is the program's kind of philosophy of education? So when you're giving this to me, this is the format that you're going to use: describe, observe, and analyze. So you're going to observe the program. So you are going to tell me about licensing body compliance. So if it's community care licensing, that the paper is up on the walls, you know, parental rights, things like that, that licensing needs us to have, that they are within ratio, that people are given breaks when they need to, that pick up and drop off go well, that lunch service happens and the food is nutritious, follows the food program if they say that they are. Signs of like the overall ability of management and supervision of a program. Because we're not looking at teachers really, we're looking at how a manager or supervisor of a program trickles down into the classroom and what the children actually experience. Because your leadership and who you are and how you lead a program and manage a program and supervise your staff is also going to be reflected in how the teachers are in the classroom, what their expectations are, and how the children are treated too. All right, so after you observe and write about it, you're going to write about your interview. So beforehand, come up with like 10 to 15 open-ended questions. So nothing they give you a yes/no answer, but depending on who you're talking to, the questions are going to be really personal to you. Good ones to kind of think about: can you describe an average day? Maybe what happens with child abuse reporting? How much, you can ask about budgeting, how you give raises. You can talk about the importance of working with the community. So just come up with 10 to 15 open-ended questions. It doesn't mean that you can't go off script. So, you know, if they've said something really thought-provoking or interesting, you could follow up and ask a question in that area, even if on your paper you don't have that interview question. So don't be afraid to kind of learn from the director and maybe go off script and ask a question you hadn't thought of because they've said something interesting. But having 10 to 15 open-ended questions before you go will be really helpful, because you don't want to waste this person's time and like have silly questions or not important questions, or just not have a question in your brain because you've gotten a little bit nervous. So when you're writing it out for me, you're going to provide the accurate question and the complete answers as well. So I want to see the questions and the answers from both of them. Then you're going to analyze. This is the very bottom. So you've contacted somebody, you have made a time to go in, you have observed the program, you've done an interview, you've then told me about the program, you've written about the observation, you've written about the interview, and now you're going to analyze it. So this is intended to be constructive, professional thoughts on what you learned from the interview and the observation. So examples of things that you could write about was, what did you learn? What was really new or cool or innovative or technologically related that you loved to try to do? What would you change? What worked really well at your program but might be challenging in your own? So at their program, maybe they do continuity of care, where the teachers move with the children into each classroom. So they're together for 3 to 4 years. Sounds amazing, but maybe you have 350 kids and 50 staff members, and that's just not going to work at your program. But you thought that that was a really awesome idea. It just wouldn't work in your particular philosophy. So I've given you some kind of instructions for what you want to do, for some directions, and then you have the instructions and grading rubric. So when you're writing this, you're going to use this format of describe, observe, interview, and analyze in order to write about what you did. Once again, this is due on March 29th, and it's 50 points. If it's late, it's automatically 25 points off, and you can submit it at any time. So it'll be totally open for you. I'm going to go back to the home page. So this first module is called Welcome, Start Here, and this will always be available for you guys. This video, if you ever want to come back and re-watch the part about the director interview, the instructions for that actual interview will always be here, and same with the syllabus. So you'll be able to look at that for the whole semester. Each week I will open a module. So for week 1, you can see right here where it's just a welcome and instruction. You guys are going to do an assignment on leadership styles. And this is a short reading about it as well. So you'll just click onto it. And this is one of those 10 weekly assignments. So they open Monday morning. You need to turn it in by Sunday night. And this is the child care administrator. You're going to read this PDF that I've given to you guys, and you guys are going to watch a video on leadership styles, and then you're going to write about what kind of leader you are. So the first week you won't need the textbook. I know it takes time to order it or get to the bookstore or find it, whatever you're going to do. So my first assignment won't be from the textbook, and there won't be any reading for this week so that you have enough time to go and get that book. But this one will just be on leadership styles. It'll be worth 10 points, and it'll be due Sunday night. I'll also have our discussion board on introduce yourself, just what it sounds like. I'm introducing myself to you, and I would like you guys to introduce yourself so that I can get to know you and what your background is, and you can get to know some of the people in the classroom as well. In the following weeks, this will be example of in week 2, so not this week, but next week I'll open up this module. You'll have a video lecture where I'll talk about diversity and inclusion. I've worked with children with special needs for the last about 5 years, quitting in 2018 when I started doing this job more. So I'll talk a lot about including children with special needs. You'll write a mission statement and a diversity statement. I'll have a Pinterest for the discussion boards. So I have a Pinterest page, and I have lots of, interesting pins and things like that related to management and supervision. So nice things that you might want to check out. So the discussion board for that week will just be checking out the Pinterest page, maybe letting me know what kind of things you want. And then I have some additional readings that you might want to take a look at. So an example of what a diversity mission statement looks like, a multicultural audit. If you were concerned about diversity in the classroom, you could use this audit if you wanted to, in order to take it around and make sure that you're reflecting diversity or not. So this is an example. There's a video lecture, there's your weekly assignment, there's discussion board, and then I'll give you any other additional resources that you might want to check out or it might help you as well. If I've linked it, then you're feel free to download it and use it as you want to, and then you'll typically read a chapter or part of a chapter as well. So each week when it opens up, it will look like these weeks. I will give you an announcement on Monday morning. I'll send it out and it'll say, hey, you know, welcome to the week. We're going to be doing leadership styles. So then you'll know that you need to do the weekly assignment. This will be the reading. This will be the discussion board. This is the video. This is the only video you need to watch this week. So I'll tell you on Monday what you need to do. And then Thursday, I'll remind you, especially for my procrastinators, take a look at everything before the weekend kind of hits as well. So that's how the class is kind of structured, and that will happen all through the classes. So we'll have lots of work that we'll be going through, lots of resources that you might want to as well. The best way to get a hold of me is just, if you're already on Canvas and you have a question, just go to inbox, and from there you should be able to just message me. It goes straight to my email anyway, so that's the best way. Or if you need to ask me a question and you want to be on email, you can just click on the link in the syllabus, and that is my email address here at MiraCosta as well. So this is a 15-week class, so we've got a lot to do in 15 weeks, especially with the last 2 weeks being a review and a final. So we're doing a lot of course content. It does kind of build on itself as well. But for this week, all you need to do is watch this video, which you've done. Take a look at the syllabus if you feel like you need some more information. Complete leadership styles, and please introduce yourself. So that is it for this video. If you have any questions or you need any additional help, please message me on Canvas, or you can send an email to me through MiraCosta email as well. Otherwise, I will see you guys online. Thanks so much.